If you were born before 1951 and rely on your state pension, there's something you need to know right now, because thousands of UK pensioners are quietly missing out on up to $2,140 every single year, and many have no idea it's happening. This isn't a small oversight. It's money that could be helping with your heating bills, groceries, council tax, and everyday living costs during a time when every pound matters more than ever. The Department for Work and Pensions rules can be confusing, outdated, and easy to overlook, especially when pension entitlements have changed over the years. But understanding exactly why this gap exists could make a real difference to your financial security. In this video, you'll discover who is affected, why this loss happens, and most importantly, what steps you can take to protect your income and claim what you may deserve. Don't let confusion cost you thousands. Stay informed, take control of your pension, and make sure you're not leaving hard-earned money behind. Like this video now and empower yourself with the knowledge every pensioner should have. For so many pensioners across the UK, retirement was supposed to be the time when life finally became a little easier. After decades of hard work, paying taxes, contributing to the system, and doing everything expected of them, many believed the state pension would provide at least a stable foundation. Not luxury, of course, but enough to live with dignity, confidence, and peace of mind. Yet for millions born before 1951, that promise has quietly fallen short, leaving many older Britons missing out on thousands of pounds each year without even realizing why. The shocking reality is that this financial gap often comes down to the way pension systems changed over time. If you were born before April 6, 1951 for men, or before April 6, 1953 for women, you likely fall under the old state pension system rather than the newer one introduced in 2016. And while that might sound like a technical detail, it can have very real consequences for your income. Under the new state pension, many retirees can receive significantly more each week, while older pensioners may be left with lower payments due to outdated entitlement structures, incomplete national insurance records, or missed benefit top-ups. Imagine two neighbors living side by side on the same street. Both worked for most of their adult lives. Both paid into the system. Both retired expecting fairness. Yet one receives nearly $60 more every week, simply because they were born a few years later and fall under a different pension framework. Over the course of a year, that difference can amount to $2,240 or more. That's not pocket change. That's enough to cover energy bills through winter, replace essential household appliances, help with rising food costs, or simply provide breathing room in an increasingly expensive world. For many seniors, this disparity feels deeply unfair. And frankly, it is understandable why so many are frustrated. The issue isn't necessarily that anyone did something wrong. In many cases, pensioners simply weren't informed. The rules surrounding pensions, pension credit, attendance allowance, and additional entitlements are often buried beneath layers of bureaucratic complexity that can be overwhelming even for younger people, let alone someone trying to navigate retirement finances. Take Margaret, for example, an 81-year-old widow from Birmingham. Like countless others, Margaret assumed her pension payments were automatically correct. She trusted that after years of national insurance contributions, the system would pay her what she was due. It wasn't until her daughter helped review her finances that they discovered she qualified for pension credit, a benefit she had never claimed. That missing support had cost her thousands over several years, not only in direct payments, but also in related benefits, like council tax reductions and heating assistance. Margaret's story is far from unique. Across the country, many pensioners are unknowingly losing out simply because they haven't been given clear guidance. And this is where understanding becomes so powerful. Because while the pension gap itself may stem from policy, there are often additional forms of support available that many seniors have never explored. Pension credit alone can open the door to significant financial help, yet government estimates have repeatedly shown that hundreds of thousands of eligible pensioners do not claim it. Sometimes it's due to pride, sometimes confusion. Sometimes people wrongly assume they won't qualify because they own their home or have modest savings, but failing to check can mean leaving life-changing support untouched. The challenge is that many seniors grew up in a generation that valued independence and self-reliance. Asking for additional help can feel uncomfortable, even when that help is rightfully earned. But there's an important truth here. These benefits are not charity. They are protections built into a system you contributed to throughout your life. Claiming them is not taking advantage. It is ensuring you receive what you deserve. The rising cost of living has made this issue even more urgent. Energy bills have soared. Grocery prices continue to strain household budgets. Basic essentials that once seemed manageable are now causing real anxiety for pensioners living on fixed incomes. For someone losing nearly $3,000 a year, every missed payment matters. Every overlooked entitlement becomes another source of financial pressure. Some pensioners find themselves making heartbreaking decisions between heating and eating, despite having worked their entire lives. That should never be the reality for older citizens in one of the world's wealthiest nations. Yet for many, it is. And much of this hardship is made worse not simply by low income, but by a lack of awareness about available support. It's also worth noting that women, particularly older women, are often disproportionately affected. Many women from previous generations took time away from paid employment to raise children or care for family members, which sometimes resulted in incomplete national insurance contribution records. Although credits and protections exist in some cases, gaps can still impact pension outcomes. As a result, older women may face even greater financial disadvantages, especially if they are widowed or living alone. This creates a ripple effect that extends beyond money. Financial insecurity can increase stress, worsen health outcomes, and reduce overall quality of life. Retirement should not feel like a constant struggle to decode government systems or fear hidden financial losses. Yet, that's exactly what many seniors face. So what can be done? The first step is awareness. Understanding which pension system you're under, reviewing your national insurance record, and checking for eligibility for additional benefits can uncover opportunities that make a substantial difference. Sometimes a simple review can reveal underpayments, missed credits, or overlooked entitlements. Family members also play a crucial role. Adult children and grandchildren can often help older relatives navigate online tools, application processes, or financial reviews. A supportive conversation today could potentially restore thousands in lost income tomorrow. It's not about interference, it's about protection. And perhaps most importantly, pensioners must know they are not alone. Across the UK, millions are facing similar concerns, asking the same questions and seeking the same reassurance. The more openly these issues are discussed, the harder they become to ignore. There is also growing public pressure on policymakers to address these disparities more fairly. Advocacy groups continue to campaign for pension justice, clearer communication, and stronger protections for older retirees who have been disadvantaged by outdated systems. While systemic reform can take time, personal action now can still make a meaningful impact. The truth is simple. Knowledge is financial power. Too many seniors have spent years quietly accepting less because they assumed nothing could change. But in many cases, there are practical steps available right now that can improve financial stability. If you or someone you love was born before 1951, this is the moment to pay close attention. Review your pension status. Investigate benefits. Ask questions. Seek advice. Because every pound matters, and no one should lose out simply because the rules were too confusing or communication was too poor. Retirement should be about security, not uncertainty. It should be a time when your years of contribution are respected, not diminished by hidden shortfalls. By understanding the reasons behind these losses and taking proactive steps, many pensioners can begin to reclaim financial confidence and ensure they are not unnecessarily left behind. This isn't just about numbers on paper. It's about fairness, dignity, and protecting the quality of life every pensioner deserves. The system may be complex, but with the right information, you can make it work better for you. And that knowledge could be worth thousands every single year. For many viewers watching today, this conversation may feel deeply personal. Perhaps you've already noticed that your weekly pension doesn't stretch as far as you hoped. Maybe you found yourself cutting back on little comforts that once seemed routine, turning the heating down more often, hesitating before buying fresh food, postponing home repairs, or saying no to family outings because every extra expense feels heavier than it used to. These are not isolated experiences. They are becoming increasingly common among older pensioners who are carrying the burden of a system that, in many cases, has not kept pace with fairness. The emotional toll of financial uncertainty in later life is something that often goes unspoken. Many seniors come from generations where discussing money struggles was considered private, even shameful. There can be a tendency to simply make do, to tighten the belt quietly, and to avoid asking for help. But staying silent can sometimes mean suffering unnecessarily. The truth is, many pensioners have been conditioned to believe that what they receive is fixed and unchangeable, when in reality there may be adjustments, entitlements, or support systems available that could dramatically improve their circumstances. Consider George, a retired factory worker from Manchester who spent over 40 years in employment. George assumed his pension was straightforward. He received his payments, budgeted carefully, and never questioned whether he was entitled to more. It was only after hearing a discussion similar to this one that he decided to investigate further. To his surprise, George discovered he was eligible for additional support through pension credit, which not only increased his income but also unlocked help with dental care, housing costs, and winter fuel support. For George, that extra assistance transformed retirement from a constant balancing act into something more stable and manageable. Stories like George's reveal an important reality. The issue is not always that support doesn't exist, but rather that many people simply aren't fully aware of it. Government systems can often feel intimidating, filled with jargon, forms, and eligibility rules that seem deliberately difficult to navigate. This complexity can discourage people from pursuing what they may rightfully deserve. Yet overcoming that hesitation can be one of the most financially empowering decisions a pensioner can make. It's also crucial to understand that inflation has significantly magnified the impact of these pension shortfalls. A few £1,000s lost each year may have been damaging in the past, but in today's economy, it can be devastating. Rising household bills, prescription costs, transportation expenses, and food prices mean that every missed entitlement becomes more painful. For someone living on a fixed income, financial gaps don't simply reduce comfort, they can directly affect health, safety, and independence. For example, inadequate heating during winter isn't just uncomfortable, it can increase health risks, especially for older adults with respiratory or cardiovascular conditions. Delaying essential home maintenance because of financial strain can create dangerous living conditions. Skipping nutritious meals to save money can weaken overall well-being. These are serious consequences that extend far beyond bank balances. And then there is the issue of digital exclusion. Many benefit systems, pension reviews, and support applications increasingly rely on online access. While technology offers convenience for some, many older pensioners may struggle with internet use, online forms, or digital verification processes. This can create another barrier, leaving vulnerable individuals at even greater risk of missing out. Family support, community organizations, or local advisory services can be invaluable in bridging this gap. One of the most powerful steps pensioners can take is simply to challenge assumptions. If you have always believed, this is just what I get, it may be time to ask, am I receiving everything I'm entitled to? That shift in mindset can open doors. Reviewing national insurance records, checking for historical underpayments, exploring attendance allowance for health-related needs, or applying for pension credit can reveal options that were previously overlooked. For married couples, widows, widowers, or divorcees, pension entitlements can become even more nuanced. Spousal contributions, inherited pension rights, and marital status changes can all influence what someone should receive. Unfortunately, these details are not always proactively explained, meaning many people may unknowingly settle for less than they are owed. A careful review can sometimes uncover significant corrections. There's also an important social dimension to this issue. When older citizens face avoidable poverty, communities as a whole are affected. Financially strained pensioners may become more reliant on overstretched public health systems, local charities, or family support networks. Ensuring seniors receive proper financial support is not only fair for individuals, it strengthens society overall. Public awareness is gradually increasing, but there remains a long way to go. Media investigations, advocacy campaigns, and pension rights groups continue highlighting cases where pensioners have been underpaid or underserved. These efforts matter because they encourage transparency and accountability. But while broader reform is important, personal awareness remains the fastest tool available right now. This is why conversations like this are so essential. They empower individuals with knowledge that can lead to real-world financial improvements. A simple check, phone call, or consultation could mean the difference between ongoing hardship and meaningful relief. For those caring for elderly parents, relatives, or neighbors, your role can be life-changing. Many seniors may not actively seek help, but gentle encouragement can make all the difference. Helping someone review paperwork, understand their options, or access advisory resources could restore money they never realized they had lost. Sometimes the greatest financial support is simply helping someone ask the right questions. Retirement should not feel like navigating a maze of hidden disadvantages. After decades of contribution, pensioners deserve clarity, fairness, and respect. Yet too often, confusion benefits the system while individuals lose out. Breaking through that confusion is an act of self-advocacy. There is also something profoundly important about restoring confidence. Financial insecurity can create a lingering sense of vulnerability, but knowledge can replace fear with control. Understanding your rights, your entitlements, and your options can shift retirement from survival mode toward greater stability. If this information feels overwhelming, remember that taking one step at a time is enough. You do not need to solve everything overnight. Begin with awareness. Review your situation. Reach out for guidance. Even small actions can lead to substantial gains over time. And above all, never underestimate the value of staying informed. Policies evolve, thresholds change, and support programs are updated. Remaining engaged ensures you are better equipped to protect yourself from future financial losses. For too long, many pensioners born before 1951 have quietly accepted disparities they did not fully understand, but understanding is the first step toward change. Whether through additional claims, corrected payments, or simply better financial planning, there are ways to improve your position. Your retirement years should be shaped by dignity, not deprivation. They should reflect the hard work, resilience, and contributions you've made throughout your life. No one should unknowingly lose thousands due to outdated systems or lack of clear communication. So if today's message resonates with you, treat it as an opportunity, not as a source of fear, but as motivation. Motivation to ask questions, seek answers, and ensure you or your loved ones are not being left behind. Because protecting your financial well-being is not just practical, it is essential. In the end, this issue is about more than pensions. It's about fairness for a generation that built communities, raised families, paid into society, and deserves security in return. And while the system may not always make things easy, informed pensioners are far better positioned to reclaim what they deserve. The money may already be within reach. The key is knowing where to look, understanding what to ask, and refusing to settle for less than what you've earned. That awareness could safeguard not just your income, but your confidence, independence, and peace of mind for years to come.